2 days passed and LUJDC said nothing. No friend can play with them. Just sad and inside. On Saturday, when Jeff was awakened by his mother, his face was happy and clear. "Jeff, the sun is shining," he said as he opened the tents to flood his room. "What am I doing now?" Jeff asked to get up. "Well, Billy's party." She was fully awake. "Mom, you're crazy, aren't you? Don't wait for their children's party to end." We paused for a moment. "Jeff, we all know what happened. I think the party can be very bright. Get dressed now." Jeff's mother left the room and went to prepare for the floor. It's hard to wake up. He took off his shirt and jeans and went downstairs. He saw that his father and mother were covering. Her mother is dressed and her father is dressed. Want to know why they wear beautiful baby clothes? "Son, is that all you brought?" Like Jeff's mother. He said, "It's better than carrying a lot of things." Mother hung up, but just smiled. "Now, Jeff, we can bring him, but if you want to be surprised, here he is." Like his father. Jeff sighed and returned to his room. "I'm not wearing nice clothes." He fell to the ground. "You can only choose." He called his mother. He looked around with so-called metaphors. For special occasions, they found black pants and t-shirts. However, he did not find a match for the t-shirt. He looked around and saw only stripes and printed t-shirts. Nobody wants to wear pants. Eventually he found white sweat and a dazzling mess. "Are you wearing it?" Everyone says the same thing. Mother looked at her watch. "Oh, there is no time for a change. Let's go." He said he would take Jeff and his father home. They crossed the street to Barbara and Billy's house. He knocked on the door and showed that Barbara was dressed like her parents. Jeff entered the house, adults only, no children. The children are in the yard. "Jeff, how did you meet any of them?" Barbara said. Jeff entered a courtyard full of children. He met several dressed men and shot them with plastic pistols. Maybe even in our plans. Suddenly a boy approached him and gave him a gun and a hat. "Are you okay? You are ready? Do you like it?" "Oh, no children. Those things are too big for me." A boy and a strange dog looked at her. "Sorry?" Like a child. "Very well," Jeff said. He put on his hat and began squeezing as if pulling a baby. At first they thought it was fun. But then they started having fun. It may not be nice, but it's the first time she's done something to get Liu's attention. So he played with the children for a while until he heard a loud sound. Then strange sounds came around him. Randy, Troy and Keith jump over the net using skateboards. Jeff dropped his fake weapon and took off his hat. Randy looked at Jeff with great hatred. "How are you, Jeff, right? What's going on? We have good news." Jeff saw his nose sniff. "I think we are the same. I beat you and you sent my brother to the JDC." Randy's expression was very dull. No, I won't do it, I'll win." "You may have beaten her the next day, but not here." As Randy said, he kicked Jeff and everyone fell on the ground. Randy stuck Jeff in the nose. Jeff grabbed her ears and shook his head. Jeff pushed Randy and they both stood up. The children screamed and the parents ran away from the house. Troy and Keith pulled a gun from their pockets. "No one bothers you, they probably don't fly. As it is." Randy threw a knife at Jeff and stabbed him in the shoulder. Jeff shouted and knelt. Randy began patting him on the cheek. After 3 pushes, Jeff grabbed his leg and twisted, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff got up and walked to the back door. Troy grabbed him. "Do you need help?" He grabbed Jeff by the neck and slammed him into the patio door. When Jeff tried to get up, he was pushed to the ground. Randy started beating Jeff until he started coughing. "Please, Jeff, fight me." He took Jeff and threw him into the kitchen. Randy saw a bottle of vodka on their counter. then poured a glass over Jeff's head. Strongly. Jeff returned to the living room. "Please, Jeff, look at me." Jeff raised his head and bloodied face. "I sent your brother to the JDC. Now sit back and leave him alone all year long. You should be ashamed." Jeff started waking up. Oh, finally. There's a battle. Jeff is now in place, his face covered in blood and vodka. I had that weird feeling again, and it had been a while and I hadn't heard it. Finally. He woke up. When Jeff ran away, Randy said, "That's when it happened." Jeff had a slightly broken heart. His heart was broken, all his right thoughts were gone, all he could do was kill him. He stopped Randy's heart. Everyone's watching Jeff now. Parents, crying children, even Troy and Keith. Even though they left him and aimed their gun at Jeff. Jeff watched his hands train and climb the stairs. As they drove, Troy and Keith fired at him and fired every bullet. Jeff climbed the stairs. He heard Troy and Keith follow him. Sooner or later, Jeff threw the ball and jumped into the bathroom. "Take a towel and pull it to the wall." Troy and Keith came in and prepared the knives. Troy confronts Jeff with a knife, which pulls away and slaps Troy in the face. Troy soon falls apart and now only Keith is here. However, he was much stronger than Troy and fainted when Jeff rolled up a towel. He set the knife down and grabbed Jeff by the neck. He was pushed against the wall. There is a piece of candle on the side. They both burned them and they both started screaming. Jeff wiped his eyes as much as he could. He pulled out a towel and placed it on Keith's head. He began to smile as he lay bleeding to death. "What's so funny?" Jeff asked. Keith turns on and on. He said, "It's interesting that you have sweets and beer." Jeff watched as Keith turned on the lamp. When she met her there, the flames burned vodka. When the alcohol gets dirty, the skin turns white. Jeff shouted awkwardly and shouted. He tried to spread their fire, but alcohol stabbed him in vain. She ran into the room and fell to the ground. When everyone saw Jeff, now the burner, fall to the ground and be on the verge of death, they all started screaming. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and other parents trying to put out the fire.